today on the Tearsheet Podcast.
So we are really, really excited about Marcus Insights. As you mentioned, it is really customer centric and provides the opportunity for customers to aggregate external accounts from thousands of institutions and be able to see them right alongside their Marcus accounts so that they can really get a 360-degree view of their finances in one place. We know that personal finances can be hard and people sometimes don't engage with them as much as they feel like they should. And so we've also rolled out our feature set with an eye on really making the experience simple, engaging, using simple visualizations to really bring insights to life that empower customers to make better financial decisions.
Welcome to the Tearsheet Podcast. I'm Shuman Bhattacharya. Today we have with us Melissa Manny, who is Vice President and Head of Product at Marcus Digital Storefront at Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Today we're going to dig into what's ahead for Goldman's consumer banking product suite, which is called Marcus. Thank you for being on our show today, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to the product team at Marcus.
Absolutely. So most of my career has been in personal finance. I worked at American Express for about a decade, building products and features for their consumer and small business divisions. And from there, I joined the Clarity Money team. I was just really inspired by the vision of building out a personal financial management tool that would help empower customers to take control of their financial lives and be a champion of their money. And when Marcus acquired Clarity Money in 2018, I came over and joined the Marcus product team, which has been a terrific opportunity. The Marcus vision and the Clarity Money vision of really helping provide transparency and great products and tools to customers. It's been great to kind of scale and work both on the Clarity Money side as well as on the Marcus site and app, which I'm excited to share a little bit more about with you.
That's great. Well, it's been 4 years since the rollout of Marcus by Goldman Sachs, and your team has signaled intentions to develop a full suite challenger bank type offering that incorporates saving, lending, and investing. So I'm curious as to what the end game is here.
We have a big opportunity at Marcus to really demonstrate to the world what a modern consumer bank is. So as you mentioned, we are working on products that will support how people spend, how they borrow, how they plan, and how they invest. And I think the common thread through all of those is we want to do it in a way that is really transparent, where customers know exactly what they're getting and what they're paying for, without hidden fees or costs. And also, we think there's a big opportunity to do it in a way that's simple, that's engaging, that's intuitive, leveraging modern digital tools.
So building on that thought, in September, you rolled out Marcus Insights, which I understand to be a personal finance management insights tool that's within the app. And I understand also that you rolled out the ability to aggregate accounts. So I'm curious as to how this particular offering stands out compared with what's on the market out there in the realm of personal finance management.
Absolutely. So we are really, really excited about Marcus Insights. As you mentioned, it is really customer centric and provides the opportunity for customers to aggregate external accounts from thousands of institutions and be able to see them right alongside their Marcus accounts so that they can really get a 360-degree view of their finances in one place. We know that personal finances can be hard and people sometimes don't engage with them as much as they feel like they should. And so we've also rolled out our feature set with an eye on really making the experience simple, engaging, using simple visualizations to really bring insights to life that empower customers to make better financial decisions. Some of our features include, as we mentioned, the ability to link accounts and aggregate them to see them all in one place, which provides a view of spend across all of your accounts, broken out by about 20 different spend categories like home, shopping, dining and drinks, etc. We know this is, a really big job to be done for customers who may spend on a couple of credit cards and from their checking account. So being able to really see that clear view of how they're spending across all those accounts can be very powerful. We also know that customers are eager to know just kind of generally, how are they doing? How are they doing this month, or how are they doing this year? So we have a snapshot feature that allows them to see, relative to the amount of income they've taken home, how much they've spent, how much they've saved, how much they've invested, and then how much is left over. And we also have a great feature that we definitely have already heard from some customers provides an aha moment, where we show them how much they've spent in a certain time period at some of their most frequented merchants. And so it's not based on the amount that they've spent, but rather the frequency. And what we hear from customers is that they often kind of have in the back of their head maybe a guilty pleasure. They feel like they spend too much on their cup of coffee or something like that. And so showing them, how much they spend at kind of those habit-driven places can sometimes help to raise awareness and help them make decisions to support their longer-term financial goals.
That's interesting. That sort of 360-degree view of a client's spending habits. I imagine that's why you decided to roll out aggregation with accounts that are not Goldman or Marcus. Is that right?
Yeah, what we understand from our customers is that they're people and they have a bunch of financial relationships. And so coming back to, the Marcus vision, which is really, we want to help empower them to see their money clearly, understand it, and make better decisions. We've always had a lot of passion for, showing them their full financial picture. This is something we did in the Clarity Money days, and that we're really excited to integrate into the Marcus app, which is really the cornerstone of the Marcus digital experience.
You mentioned the Clarity Money app. I understand that Goldman acquired that 2 years ago, and you were part of that original team. So I'm interested to find out more about how the Marcus team was able to use the capacities of the Clarity Money team and what they were able to contribute.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I came from Clarity Money. A lot of us who came from Clarity Money are on the same team that built out Marcus Insights and the Marcus app. And so, I would say there was so much that we were able to leverage to really give us momentum as we were building out Insights. Number one, Clarity Money has millions of customers. And so we have a ton of learnings and feedback from those customers in terms of analytics, which features they use the most, how they engage with the app store reviews. We did a lot of research. And so we were really able to use all of that to inform, the next kind of iteration of this tool set. From a technology perspective, we also really benefited from having that foundation. One specific example is something that we feel is really important to bringing this experience to life and displaying finances more clearly is getting that categorization right. And that's something we spent a lot of time and effort on in Clarity Money, analyzing the billions of transactions that came through from our customers. And so we were really able to apply a lot of those learnings out of the gate to have a high level of accuracy with Marcus Insights. And then lastly, I would just say, me and the rest of the team, we've been thinking about some of these problems for 4+ years. And so just kind of having that expertise, having that heritage, having heard from so many customers directly, I think it's just a really great way to frame, taking on a new feature set within the Marcus experience.
So we looked at how Marcus built itself internally. Now looking externally to Marcus's partnerships with large brands, I understand that Marcus has partnered with companies like JetBlue and Walmart to expand its client base. Can you tell us a bit about Marcus's partnership strategy and what it hopes to achieve from those?
Yeah, absolutely. So our banking as a service platform, which helps us to drive relationship with other like-minded partners, I think is really key in a couple of ways. One is that it helps us to kind of grow and expand our capabilities. And the other is it also helps us to expand to reach customers who are common customers of other brands that similarly are really focused on solving, customer problems and real personal financial pain points. This year, for instance, we offer new digital lines of credit for Amazon's US-based merchants, as well as Walmart's marketplace sellers. And I think this is a really great experience of kind of marrying our product expertise and experience with, some of the largest and very well regarded brands. And in particular this year, I think it's been really great to reach new customers, new small business customers in particular, and equip them with the ability to expand their businesses. We know a lot of small businesses have had a lot of challenges and have had to pivot. And so, it was a really great time for us to move into this space.
It's been indeed a very difficult year for a lot of consumers. And as the economy is in recovery mode from the coronavirus crisis, can you tell us a little bit about how Marcus has supported customers through this period and how you see that evolving?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I would say that Marcus, like a lot of other companies out there, but really prides itself on taking care of its customers and people, its employees first and foremost. And so from a customer perspective, I think the first thing that we thought of was how can we support people who are going through a really tough time. Marcus was one of the first companies to announce a customer assistance program, where our customers could actually defer a loan payment for a month, not accrue any interest charge during that deferral, and the loan term was actually extended by a month. Similarly, on the deposit side, we waived the early withdrawal penalty for customers who needed access to their funding sooner than expected. And so I think it's a really great example of how if you're thinking about your customers first, then you're going to respond in the right way, and be there when it really counts. Similarly, on the people side, I know that there were tons of people kind of moving mountains to make sure that everybody could safely pivot to remote work. And I think, like so many stories that we've all heard, it was really amazing to see how, within 72 hours, like almost our entire customer support team was able to work remotely, as well as all of us who were building products and features. And so definitely a tremendous learning opportunity, I think, for all of us, and really a reaffirmation of our business model. As I mentioned, not only the fact that starting with the customer and kind of obsessively focusing on the customer leads you to do the right thing, but also it's been amazing just to see, the transition to mobile banking during this time. I think there are some reports that, mobile banking has surged by 50% in 2020. And I think what we're seeing is that digital banking has become the new normal. More and more people are saying that, when the pandemic is over, they don't anticipate going back to bank branches the same way they did before the pandemic. It's just fundamentally shifted how they interact with their financial institutions. And that's certainly something that we've seen, based on visits to the site and the app, based on the deposits volumes that we've seen come in. And so it's really just an affirmation of the things that we were already doing.
We're definitely hearing about that shift to a digital first reality post the coronavirus crisis from a lot of companies that we've been talking to. Looking to the future, what are some product innovations or evolutions that we can expect to see from Marcus over the next year?
Yeah, so we've already built lending, savings, and card capabilities, and right now we're focusing on building checking and investing products for 2021, for launch in 2021. And I think more details to come about those in the coming months, but we're really excited to expand the feature set in a way that builds off of some of the things that are core to Marcus, built on a trusted legacy of 150 years of customer experience, really focusing on building with an eye towards security, which we know is so important for our customers. And as always, really making sure that we're transparent, that we're simple, that people can intuitively find what they need. And that's a really interesting and exciting problem to solve as we're scaling so quickly. But we really are excited about all the things to come in 2021.
This year, a number of fintechs have been advancing on the challenger bank train, really. We've seen a number of companies that are pursuing charters and have made some inroads in that process. In light of this, how do you see the competitive landscape? Like, who do you see as your competitors?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question because I think when we talk to our customers about personal finance, what we often hear is actually the biggest competitor isn't a specific other brand, but it's actually just inertia. People tend to have financial accounts with the same institution for years and years, if not decades. And it's just really hard to make a switch, even if you know that you could be potentially optimizing your money somewhere else. We also know, as it relates specifically to something like Marcus Insights and personal financial management tools, people kind of have their own ad hoc systems, and they know that they're not the most efficient, but it's just kind of what they've always used. And so, that's really what we see as kind of the biggest point of competition. And so we're just always thinking about, how do we make sure we're solving the customer problem in a really inviting, engaging way, so that people kind of take that first step to engaging with us.
Well, thank you for being on our podcast today. It's been very interesting getting your thoughts on the future of Marcus and where it's headed.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.